Previously on Wonders and Blunders. You see this face come out, a woman's face, like deathly pale, and these raven feathers fold back to form her feathered hair, which then extends down into a feathered cloak behind her. She pulls out a small necklace, which on the end has 2 black raven feathers and what looks like a beak, and around the beak there is a red gem. I'll give you the items you seek if you give this to the one who resides in the steady stream. And from the back comes this tall, muscular woman, and she gives you this huge, warm smile. Now she says, if you need anything at all, my name is, I'm Bridgette Calais.
This amulet here, and I'll take it out and kind of show her. She said that I needed to give this to the one who resides in the steady stream.
Well, many people move through here. Could have been for anything. But I don't think I'm the one you're looking for. You start going over this water wheel, and the biggest thing that gets to you is you can't figure out what it's for.
We should probably try and get some good sleep tonight, too. I think the morning might be a little bit, uncomfortable.
I'm assuming Bido got up to something.
He did.
Oh, yes.
And might have had some assistance from Bree.
Oh, they're getting along. That's great.
Yeah, I guess where we'll come in is, what did you kids do with the gold? I think I'll say it like this way. If you wanted to split it up, each person would have gotten 200 gold. So,
Jesus.
Could the kids carry that out?
Or 200 each, yeah, totally.
Maybe Brooke got more though.
With gold, like I don't want to deal with like how big is a gold piece? How many gold pieces can you get? If it's obscene, I'll tell you.
They're very tiny.
Would these kids have just robbed the manor though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't think I would have, because my dad is in jail for robbing the inn.
Oh, backstory.
Burke would have carried
Yeah, that one didn't come out.
Yeah, that didn't come out. That was all the back. Well, since it didn't come out, it does exist.
Is it true?
Yeah. No, I mean that's probably. I'll say, just for the sake of simplicity, if you wanted to leave your share behind,
I wanted to give mine to like the town.
the town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could say that you took it with the intention of doing that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay, so whatever.
Yeah.
I just take my share with the intention of like paying off my dad's.
And Tamiel
misdeeds.
is too distraught.
Yeah, Tamiel split.
Tamiel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
mean, the gold. You found all the gold upstairs before Tamiel had his bad night.
Tamiel was not, but they were still planning to explore. They weren't carrying stuff around with them.
Right. Okay. So there's
Like,
Tamiel shares
once
in a
again
pile.
facing the trouble of like, it's so hard to give you shit.
I know. I'm really trying to give you stuff, guys. I really am.
trying to give
Tamiel.
these kids.
Yeah. But I guess because the only one that will be coming back to the party and affecting the rest of you, Ben will leave with 200 gold.
I'm not coming back.
Okay. Well, wherever you go on your side adventures from now on. Okay, everybody, I'll give you back those character sheets. Write down
New characters.
what you have and haven't done.
Can't wait to go to school in the morning.
I sense a spin-off
yeah.
podcast.
I leave so I'm gonna take my share of the gold and leave it for those nice cat people that live at the inn.
Yeah, okay. She spied them on the way in and was like, God, they look
Yeah.
poor.
Just those poor, destitute cat people.
They're destitute.
Hey.
Hey!
What magic item do you want, Ben? There was a short sword, a mace.
I took the mace. Remember when
Took the
Tamiel
mace?
threw
Yeah.
a witch?
But we kind of just...
No.
No, right.
Was it a magic
Tamiel
shield?
did throw it at the wall
Yeah,
before he
Tamiel.
fled.
And then Ben picked it up, tested the weight. It's too heavy for him. He took it.
You didn't end up using the shield, but when you swung the swords and stuff around, you knew they were magical.
Mhm.
And they all have the same, like, similar engravings on them. So there was a suit of armor, a shield, a short sword, and a mace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ben will be holding on to the mace he picked up.
Okay,
So Tamiel threw it.
cool. So everybody else that night at the steady stream went to bed. Vaelin, make a con save
Seems fair.
for sleeping in the freezing cold room with nocturnal Bido.
Ooh. That's going to be a 19.
19? Okay. Miraculously, you
Yeah,
managed
tough
to
stuff.
Yeah, I guess you find yourself shivering over in the corner. Yeah, just like slowly trying to keep your clothes warm. And you wake up partway through the night with after the hammering below stops as they fix the hole between the kitchen and the bedroom. You wake in the night to a sigh as you're sort of shivering over in the corner, and you see Bridgette standing in the doorway as she sort of surveys the room.
Oh, yes. Hello. Yeah. Sorry about the mess. We'll do our best to get things back in order.
And she looks around and just sort of says, like, "Well, I don't know why I was expecting it to be any better up here. At least you managed to keep it to one room."
Yes, I see that as a win.
And you can see that she like looks around and she sees Bido peeking his head out of the closet hole that he's made for himself, and he sort of just goes like, "Oh," and like shrinks back in, and the little spitty curtains that he's made for himself close over his face. Yeah, kobolds are nasty. You guys gotta deal with this guy for good now. But she has in her hands a bunch of linens, and she actually brings it in, and you see this really finely knit blanket, and she lays it over you.
Oh, thank you. That's far too generous.
Well, we'll sort it all out in the morning.
Thank you.
And she turns and leaves, just sort of like mumbling to herself. Yeah, and you feel this this blanket is not like the blankets that were in the room before. It's not just like any old linen. This feels like extremely warm and really comfortable. So you actually manage to get a good sleep. So you get a full rest.
Sweet.
Bree, I'm not going to make you do a con save because you're used to sleeping.
I'm not sleeping.
Oh, you're not sleeping. You're staying up all
Because I
night.
stay up all night, and because I'm also watching the house have chests thrown out of it and stuff, and just being like, okay.
Yeah, and you saw
See
Ben came out and waved to you.
Yeah.
So I'll say that in the night then, Ben, when you're returning, Bree, you would see Ben come out of the house. You would see the kids sort of divvying up the
I guess
spoils.
there were a fair number of like sheets and cloths still left around the house, right? So maybe like they've piled up their gold in those and are like dragging them.
Burf had the suit of armor, so you can hear him just sort of clanking down the road with his. So Bree, you would see Ben coming back from the house.
I think I'm just watching approvingly, as he seems to have succeeded at his adventure and grown up a little bit. It's good. He went off on his own. He had a little adventure. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, so Ben is like, he's got his shield on his back, and then he's got like a bindle with gold pieces in it kind of slung over the shield, and then he is dragging a mace. He was carrying it at first, and then as he got closer, it kind of drops into the snow, and he's now just dragging it behind him, and he drags it right up to it was a barn, right? Or is it stables? Stables, yeah. Drags into the stables. And,
Oh, you're going to the stables?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are the caravans in the stables or just Gertie and Brett?
Gertie and Brett are inside the stables. The caravan is just outside, tied up.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going into the stables?
He's going to Bree. Like
Okay, so
he saw
Bree's on
her,
the
he waved
caravan.
at her.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going with the caravan. Yeah.
So you pull up to the caravan with your spoils.
A successful hunt.
There were two ghosts and some other people, but I got gold, and he like slings the gold like down on the ground. I don't know why I made a sound effect. You can do that later. And, I gotta stop doing that.
That's good. I don't have to put one in now.
Shink, gling, gling, gling.
So someone just entered the barber shop.
One shave for a halfpenny, sir. And we got gold, and we killed one of the ghosts, and we talked to the other for a long time. And I got a mace. I don't know. I took it, but I don't know if I should have.
It is good. We will teach you to swing.
It's really heavy.
That is good. You will become bigger boy.
Yeah. Okay. And then Ben leaves the mace on the ground and drags the gold into and you can hear like he opens his chest and you just hear like gold spilling all over the ground and so you're like, oh biscuits.
Okay, so are you going to sleep in the stables or in the caravan or?
I guess once he kind of gets his affairs in order and puts the mace in next to his chest, he kind of he's gonna go back inside. He's like, Is anyone else awake?
Just other little children. I assume I haven't seen anyone else.
No one else has been out and about. You did see like a couple of lights and a couple of people peer out the window when the smash and the chest coming out, but nobody actually came outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your things will be safe.
Okay, we should tell everyone, right? What happened?
What happened? You see ghost? You kill ghost.
Yeah, but I didn't tell anyone I was going.
Well, you have told Bree.
Yeah. Okay. Good night, Bree.
Good night, little Ben.
And then Ben kind of runs up to the door and like opens it up to the steady stream.
Okay.
Opens it slow.
You come into the steady stream. It's completely quiet in here now. It seems like whatever construction was being done is done. So you see Star asleep next to the fire. So if you want to try to like sneak past without waking people up, you can do a
I
stealth
think
check.
I'm down there too.
You stayed on the couch as well. That's right. Yeah. So do if you want to try to not wake people up by coming in.
Yeah, Ben is just gonna. It's like kind of Pink Panther style creep, like real little kid, like looking out for every creak.
So roll a stealth.
Hey Yuri, can you buy all these rooms that we're not going to use?
Yeah. Paid for what? 10 rooms or something?
Yeah.
And we trashed at least one of them.
17.
17? Okay. So you're walking across, you're like pretty sneaky as you go, but as soon as your foot touches the stairs, it like just groans like an almost imperceptible amount, but Rowan, you do stir a little bit. You're unsneakable.
Yeah, I would definitely want to. Yeah. Oh, hey there, friend. You just coming in?
Yeah.
And can I guess I'll do an insight to see if he's just coming in or if I can see like dust and cobwebs and like the mace. Oh, you left the mace. So if I see like dust and cobwebs and stuff. Nope.
Critical fail.
I just woke up. I see it's you. I'm content.
Yeah. The only light is the hearth. So the fire is still going, but it's much lower. No one's maintaining it now. So it's just sort of flickering firelight on the stairs, and you can tell that it's him. But yeah,
Burning that midnight oil, eh?
What does that mean?
Oh well, it means I'm gonna go back to bed. You have yourself a good night.
Oh, good night, Rowan.
Good night. And I'll just roll back into the couch, I guess.
Okay, great. So Ben, you head upstairs, and you hear as you head up, you hear the door at the far left at the end of the hall close. That's Bridgette's room, and you head to your room and go to bed.
Yep.
Okay. So Rowan, as you turn over and you're about to go back to sleep, you do notice a sort of like scratchy feeling near your head. As you go back down to go to sleep, and as you like just sort of twitch up to scratch your ear, you feel like webs.
Good. Okay.
And you look up above you, and like when you sort of look around, you can see that there is a spider on the ceiling, which is
like a normal, like a spider,
Oh,
or
you're-
like oh my god, it's a spider.
no, it's not the size of a dog or anything.
Okay.
It's like probably the size of your thumb, and it's just kind of floating on a web above you, and it starts to just climb back up.
Oh, well, hold on there now, little guy. Actually, I've got a question for you. And I'll kind of like reach up and kind of wrap the top of his web just like a little bit, maybe a couple of inches above the spider, if I can reach that far.
Yeah, I mean, your huge furbolg arm just sort of goes up.
So I'll kind of like twirl the web around my fingers so I can like pull him and like leave him dangling and come down. It's like, no, I'm not going to hurt you. I just got a question here, and I'll let him land on my hand.
Okay, yeah. He sits on your hand and just stays still.
Now, I bet you do all kinds of crawling around here. I bet you know this area real well, don't you? Well, earlier tonight, I heard a rumbling under some rocks behind this here inn, and I'm wondering if maybe you know anything about that, or if you know a hole that leads into more of that rumbling. Do you know what I mean?
It just stands
it's
still.
A spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. I guess you're not.
I know.
How about
my villain lair? You got me.
Okay. How about you do a little spin on my hand if you know anything about those rumblings?
Make a persuasion check.
14. I think persuasion is just 2, so 16.
Okay. It crawls off your hand and starts to descend down towards the ground.
All right. Well, that's not a spin, but I'll definitely follow if you lead.
It goes on the floor and crawls between the floorboards and goes under.
Oh. Now, I guess I should have expected that. That's what I get for waking up before my time. Well, they did just do a whole bunch of renovations, didn't they? Wonder if they'd mind a few more loose boards. And I'll look around and actually I'm gonna that's like a weird moral choice. No, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll take out all my stuff would be in the wagon, so I wouldn't have that. But yeah, I'll see if I can pull up the board.
Okay, make a strength check.
Are you trying to quietly pull up a board?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think I'm just like, whoa. Well, all right, here we go. No, that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, -1 because I'm a lanky old furball. That's going to be a 7.
A 7? Yeah, this place is pretty sturdily made. I think the biggest thing is you just can't get your medial fingies down in under the boards.
Can't play
to get
piano
good.
either.
I thought Furbolg's got advantage on those kind of things.
I can do one size bigger, so I can attempt to move more stuff, but I still have no strength, so I can fail lifting more stuff. I really want to follow that spider. I guess I'll meander into the kitchen and see if I can find a stairwell down.
Okay, do an investigation check.
That's something I can do. Nope. I am too tired.
Yeah.
A critical fail.
What's your passive investigation? Shouldn't that...
My passive is
You
15.
can't roll less than that.
I don't know.
What?
Critical fail.
Yeah, it's a
I
crit
thought you
fail,
had
but
critical fail on skill checks.
so 15 is still your minimum,
Okay.
but if it's over DC 15,
You're not going to...
you're not going to find it. In here, I think the biggest thing is that it's pitch black.
Yeah.
Just as soon as you step through this hearth, the light gets 2 feet within the door, but then all you can see is sort of the gray out of boxes and crates of food.
Okay, I'll. I think maybe this is a job for morning light. So I'll come back into the living room and I'll kind of get down to where the spider called down. Well, I'm not going to follow you right now. I'm not exactly going to fit. So you have yourself a good evening down there, and I'll bring some friends in the morning. You take care. And I'll kind of look at Star and think about waking him up to just talk with him. And instead, I'll reach up to the amulet around my neck and get back into the couch and roll into sleep.
When you grab the amulet, you feel web around that as well.
My expression darkens a little, but I'll still roll into the couch.
Okay. So Bree, you're staying up all night. Everybody else has gone to sleep. So you can everybody except Bree can take a full rest.
Take exhaustion?
You won't take exhaustion now, but if you try to do stuff today without resting, then anything strenuous could put you into exhaustion.
Cool.
So I guess Ben, you would be sleeping in to get a full rest because you went to bed quite a bit later than everybody else. But as the sun sort of rises the next day, you can hear just like the pitter patter of little pieces of snow hitting what windows are left.
Yeah, my window's broken.
Yeah, your window's broken as well. So the but you still have a bed and linens and stuff like that, so you can get in under it.
Well, la-dee-da.
Yeah, real fancy in this room. So yeah, the light starts to peek through the windows, and everybody gets up. You wake up to the smell of food cooking, and what would you all like to do? I guess also Bree, as soon as the sun starts to come up, you see a couple of hunters gathering around the stables area, and they kind of like look at you as they come by, and are just watching you. And one of them kind of like tips their hat.
It's just kind of like the two eyes and the snout poking out
Yeah.
from the top of the wagon, and that's it. And I'm definitely just watching at them the entire time.
Like I think they come out with like just little cups of tea, and they're all sort of in conversation. And then one of them notices you, and the conversation just stops, and he kind of like taps the other hunter, and she looks up and sees you, and she kind of nods, and says, "Good morning."
I don't think there's any response, but Bree's not exactly the stealthiest, so I think the tail is still kind of like off the back of the wagon,
Right.
kind of swaying a little bit.
Does your tongue like flick out like a Komodo dragon? Or...
Not really, no.
Okay.
Not that I've ever thought.
All right, I was just wondering about that.
I gotta think about this now more. Komodo dragons are pretty
You gotta
cool.
figure out how many toes you have, what your tongue does.
What my poops look like.
Not again. Vaelin, when he wakes up, I think is gonna turn to Bito. And is Bito awake or asleep at this point?
Bito is sort of settling in to go to sleep now.
Okay. Now, Bito, you get some rest, and make sure that you stay here. I'll come and check on you in a few hours, in case we need your help for anything. But please, if you need anything or want anything, you've got to find me and ask me first.
Okay, where you be?
As far as I know, I'll be around the inn. We may explore the town a little bit. But if you can find any member of the party or Yuri, and they'll know where I am.
Okay. Yes, I know come.
No, you stay here and rest.
Okay.
And stay out of trouble.
Don't understand.
Don't touch anything.
Okay.
And he kind of like holds his hands up.
Well, okay, you can touch the doors and nothing that doesn't belong to you.
Oh, okay.
Wait, no. I don't think you understand property rights. Just go to sleep, and when you wake up, come find me.
Okay.
And then I'd like to go try to find Yuri.
Okay. So you step out of the room, and the heat of the rest of the of the rest of the inn sort of hits you as you leave your.
Oh, and I'll take the blanket with me.
Okay, yeah. So that has been keeping you warm throughout the night. Bito doesn't seem too bothered by the frigid state of the room. But yeah, you leave, and when you look down, you can see that there's a couple of people in the inn down, sort of starting their breakfast, and you see Yuri is down there, and he has the book out, and he's sort of scribbling through it. You can also see that he is sitting directly on the opposite side of Bart, who is also down having breakfast on the other side of the.
Bart's the
Bartholomew, yeah,
big
the Watcher.
asshole guy.
Are we sitting on opposite sides of the same table, or like opposite
sides
of
of
the room?
the inn, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and who else was involved last night? Do I see Rowan awake?
Yeah, so Rowan and Star would both be getting up down here already. So I think Rowan and Star, actually, when you start to wake up, you would hear Yuri sort of whistling to himself at the table as he looks through his book.
I would like to approach them and Rowan, I could use some backup. I think we'll need to break the news to Yuri that our stay here may have become more expensive.
Well, I don't think I'd care. Oh, right. I guess that'd be a commotion last night, right?
Yes, there's a fair bit of repairs that we may need to cover.
You know, I think a group meeting might actually be a good idea. I've got a few things I'd like to share as well.
Okay, so perhaps we'll get everyone together.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
I'd like to come downstairs at this point. I think I woke up pretty early, but I wrote in my journal in my room for a little while before I came down.
Okay.
I think once I've seen all of the hunters leave town, I would probably wait a little bit and then make my way back to the inn as well.
Cool. So you see these hunters, as they leave, they actually take some dogs, and you actually see them leave on dog sled. So they have 2 dogs
Cool.
pulling sleds as they peel off into the forest in different directions.
Are they good doggos?
They're very good. Yeah.
Good.
You don't even have to be there to know this. Like,
Good.
you get a sense while you're sitting at breakfast,
Just
like
in my
good doggos
core
are about.
being. Yeah. It's definitely a furbolg sense. Like a mile radius. Yeah.
So as everyone sort of starts to gather around the table, where's Benjamin?
Oh, I saw him last night. He came in a little late. He might be getting his beauty sleep upstairs still.
Growing boy needs rest.
Fair enough. So, Yuri, there was... did you hear... Well, last night there was noise. Did Bridgette speak to you yet?
So yeah, you all come over to the table and he's sitting there, and he's sort of like piddling away in his book, and he doesn't have any food around him or anything like that. And he says, "Oh no, I didn't hear anything last night. Honestly, I need to apologize for how I reacted. Honestly, I think the reason I didn't hear anything is because I spent a lot of last night screaming into my own pillow until I went unconscious. But I don't know if it's the near death or just the endorphins, or maybe I just got all that out of me, but I'm feeling real positive today."
It's a brand new day, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to let things get to me, you know. But here, that's a fact of life, and I feel like things are just looking up now. And I got up early this morning, and he hands out little pouches to each of you, which like jingle. And he says, "I told you as soon as we got here that we'd settle up the pay. So here you go. Here's your pay. Thank you for all of your excellent work. I feel like I started out with employees and I ended up with friends. So I think this has been a very exciting experience for me. So yeah, things are looking up."
That's excellent to hear, Yuri. I'm glad you're in such a good mood and looking forward so optimistically. Then it won't be too much trouble then to share with you that we may need to cover some extra costs here at the inn.
Oh, you mean for like adventuring gear or something?
Well, that's not a bad idea, but no, there was some damage caused last night. Some of our friends started to sort of make themselves at home, and they're not exactly used to staying at fancy inns like this, and there's simply some repair costs that we may have to pitch in. So
as you're explaining this, you look over his shoulder and you see Bridgette coming out of the kitchen, and she starts walking towards you.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, I mean, oh, what? You're a couple of adventurers, you know, you get into a little bar fight for a few broken stools. I'm sure we can cover that kind of thing. There's a bit of a commotion last night."
Well, I know of a broken window, a desecrated closet.
Desecrated?
A demolished bed.
A whole bed?
A gaping hole in a bedroom floor.
The whole floor? That's okay. Positive, Yuri. It's fine.
At least one meal ruined.
Not ruined.
Oh, well, yes. A meal that was given away for free. And I believe, is that it? That's all it is, I think.
So as you finish explaining that, he's just like putting the numbers in his head, and then Bridgette walks over and says, "Good morning, Yuri," and then lays down a sheet of paper in front of him, and he picks it up and he just goes like, "Oh, Oh no! Oh, we're ruined! Oh, give me those! Give it! And he like reaches out and he grabs everybody's little pouches of money back, and he like pulls them back, and he's like, "Oh, you absolute lunatics! Oh my! How could you do all this? In how late did you stay up? I couldn't do this much damage on purpose if I had a week. You lady! Oh god! Fuck! Ah, shit! Fuck! Shit!" And he stomps back up the stairs again, and then you just hear him like at the top of the stairs. He's like, "Oh! You're all fucked!" God damn it! And he just slams the door again.
Well,
I think you let that get to him
pretty well.
Oh,
well.
Is the bill still there?
No, he took it with him upstairs.
Is Bridgette still there?
She is, yeah.
Bridgette, I am wondering if there may not be some sort of arrangement we may be able to reach to perhaps maybe it's some sort of payment plan, or we could offer you services in exchange for repaying the debt that we owe.
Make a persuasion check.
No. That
Apparently
is
she's
a
still pretty mad.
7. I start. I start sort of fumbling with my words. I'm going to use a luck point.
Okay.
And it sort of like comes off as, well, we'll see how it comes off.
See how it comes off.
So that is going to be a 16.
16? Okay.
Yeah, so I think some sort of payment plan. In fact, if you're not willing to trust us, I can assure you that I don't know how this would work, but I'm going to try and use my background feature.
Okay.
The noble background and being sort of like respected for being a noble. And I'll sort of say, I can guarantee you that a Rutherford always keeps their word.
So you can see that she almost, like when you start offering to not pay this bill, basically, she almost turns and walks away. But yeah, you see her like turn back, and there's just something about the way that you say that you always keep your word that sort of makes her turn around. And she says, well, the damages were quite expensive, and I had to pay Fred and Ted overtime. They are not cheap. But I have been thinking a little bit more, and even if... Did you happen to find anyone who you thought you should give that amulet to? We had spoken about it before.
Can I do an insight on it?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. 8, 9, 10, 11, so 21.
21? Okay.
8, 9, 10, 11, 21.
Oh, it's 13.
Classic
13
counting.
plus 8, yeah.
So you...
I did math.
She's looking at you and trying to see it on you. Do you have it like out invisible?
I don't. I've got it tucked away in one of the bandolier pouches, probably in with like sunflower seeds or something.
Okay, yeah. So she's kind of looking for it, and she says, I remember that it had the gem in it could be worth enough to cover at least some of this, to take a chunk out of it. And...
Well, that's a good point. What say you and I go downstairs and check out this basement, and we can trade this amulet for those repairs?
Excuse me?
Well, a friend of mine gave me a clue that there might be something I'd like to see in the basement down here, and I'm sure you wouldn't mind if we had a little stroll through. See, what I'm looking for, and actually, guys, maybe you might want to listen in on this too, because night before last, if you'll pardon me, Bridgette, just for a moment. And last night, I was out doing a little stroll around the inn, and I heard a strange rumbling sound coming from behind the rocks, and there's a water wheel, and I'm looking at Bridgette now while I'm talking about this, trying to read her reaction.
I'll keep your 21, yeah.
And Vaelin's just trying to make apologetic smiles at Bridgette.
It's like, it seemed awfully strange to hear the rumbling on the other side of what should be just sheer rock. And so I thought about it, and I was mulling it over, and a friend of mine crawled over to say hello. It's Little Spider. I'm sure you've seen him. Anyway, I asked him if they know anything about it, and he seemed to suggest that he did. And when I told him to lead the way, he's an intrepid spider, you see, he crawled down between some floorboards. Now, me being bigger than a spider, I can't do that. And I thought, we've already trashed one room. There's no reason to pry up some floorboards. So perhaps you could take us down to where that spider went, and we could have a little mosey, and maybe we could all get to the bottom of a mystery, and you get yourself a nice gem in the same process.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Do I do them any other way? 15, so 17.
17. She looks like she kind of pauses, and you see her jaw kind of like open a few times, and she kind of looks down at the ground. And she says, "Well, if you really want to discuss this in the basement, then that we can be arranged. I don't know what to say about rumbling behind rocks and all that, but perhaps I can clear up if you have some suspicions about our water wheel."
Oh, no, it's not suspicion. I suspect whatever it is has been there a long time, probably longer than even you've been here. So it's not about suspicion. It's more about getting to the bottom of things.
She says, "Very well, come with me."
And with my 21, did I see her nervous or anything like that, or like she might be racking her brain for a way to keep us to not looking at something that we're gonna see down there?
She's trying to figure you out.
Yeah,
that's what she's doing. She's looking back at you, and you're like watching her face, and she's watching your face. She doesn't look terrified or scared or anything like that, but she is studying you, trying to figure out why you're asking about this. That's what you can tell.
Vaelin's just looking back and forth between the two of them, extremely confused.
Yeah, and she's like, she has tuned everyone out and is like laser focused on this.
Okay.
But she waves to all of you and says, come with me if you'd like.
When we go, I'm going to do like a quick kind of scan for the dimensions of upstairs, kind of with my vision. And hopefully my cartographer background sort of situation lets me do something with that information and not immediately forget it when I go downstairs. And when we go downstairs, try to again sort of comparatively get to that point where the spider crawled down.
Okay. So when you so she brings you into the kitchen. When you
go on.
So in here you get a better look. You were kind of in here last night, and you've gotten glimpses in here throughout the time that you've been here. There's just mostly like counter space for preparing meals. You can see Fred and Ted in here are preparing breakfasts and that kind of thing. There's not a whole lot of people outside, but it looks like some have put in orders that haven't been fulfilled yet. And they're rooting through boxes of preserved and salted meat and fish and sort of getting that stuff ready. You can see that they've got like jars of preserves of different colors from all sorts of different places. I guess Cara W would see like these are not from here. It's clearly been a bunch of trading that's been done, but they are pretty well stocked. And she brings you back, and you see in the back there's also like a clay oven, and there's a little bellows that's just moving up and down, and you can see that that's attached to a rotating gear on the wall to sort of keep this oven going.
But is it safe to assume that this is the side that the water wheel's on?
Yes, yeah. But when you're looking at that, you can also see that there's a couple of like wooden gears turning here, and they go through a hole in the floor, and she leads you behind some barrels where there is a trapdoor, which she opens and brings you down into the basement. In the basement, she actually grabs an unlit torch and lights it in the oven and brings you below. Not very much light comes through. You can just see little bits of light peeking through the floorboards from above. Okay. You can hear the feet above you. Down here, it is mostly like wooden and built, but it is built right up against the bedrock of the mountain.
Okay.
You can see a lot more boxes down here, older preserves. You see, Vaelin, you see another couple of blankets like you were given, these really fine blankets down here. It's a fairly small room. If you scan the dimensions, it's in comparison to upstairs, it's probably about the same as the general room, but it extends a little farther, even like under the rock of the mountain that's sort of been carved out on the side. And she brings you down and sort of motions around.
So can I through here, would I be able to like orientate so that, okay, if the spider crawled down through the floor, that's where he'd come out kind of thing? Can I see that from here?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be able to tell, like, that's the living area.
Okay, right.
You can feel even the heat from the fire right above from what you were sleeping around.
And when you say that it extends into like the bedrock, is it like all bedrock? Is it like carved out of the bedrock? Or is there some part that looks like, I don't know, like masonry or...
It was carved out of the rock, but not well. Like, it's a lot of sharp edges. It's not smooth at all. It still like features a lot of the rock feature of the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, having seen where the spider would have come down and seen that it's just like a normal basement, I'll then go over to the rock wall, the side where I heard the rumbling, and I'll put my ear up to it and see if I hear or feel anything through there.
Okay, do a perception check.
14. 6 plus 8. Yeah, 14.
14? Okay. Yeah, you move over to the side, and she's actually standing between you and that wall.
Mm-hmm.
And you, like, make your way towards her, and she kind of, like, stands her ground and then moves to the side at the last second as you make your way over. And you put your hand on the wall, and you can feel it rumbling.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put your ear up to it, you can still hear that same sort of, like, grinding sound.
Yeah, now see, Bridgette, this is what I'm talking about. This rumble through here. I appreciate you bringing us down here. What do you make of this?
And she comes over and, like, listens, puts her hand on the wall. She says, I'm not sure. Vibrations from the wheel, I suppose.
Right, and they've been here. You don't remember a time where this didn't happen, or?
I didn't really pay attention to it, honestly.
Yeah, it's just rumbling in the hill, right?
Yeah.
While they're talking, could I cast Detect Magic?
Yes.
So I just sort of like make a little symbol with my hand and speak a few magic words.
And that's not a ritual, you're just casting
it?
Okay. So you cast the spell. Everybody can hear Vaelin sort of, say a few words, and you raise your hand up in front of you, and your eyes sort of, for a second, glint blue as you look around. And you scan the room. You don't see anything magical. But when you look back at the group, you see Bridgette is glowing with a magic aura.
Just like her whole
self. Yeah.
Whole deal.
Dun, dun, dun.
What? School of Magic.
Illusion.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. I try not to react.
Okay, do deception.
Where is deception?
She's gonna...
Eyes just go wide and blue, like, oh yeah, everything's normal over here.
That's 12.
12? Okay. Yeah, she, like, hears you cast the spell and sort of looks over at you, and now she's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
But then she, like, watches you for a moment and then turns back to Rowan.
Would my passives have picked that up, or?
Would have picked up Vaelin going... yeah, probably.
All right.
And she turns back to you, Rowan, and says, "Are you satisfied?"
Well, I'm definitely satisfied that you brought us down here. That was mighty kind of you. I realized it was an odd request first thing in the morning.
Yes.
I definitely think this amulet is yours. The more I think about it, the more I think it's definitely meant for your hands. I'm just going to do a quick inspection on this stone wall, and then I'll hand that right over to you. And I'll look at Vaelin, and I'll be like, Vaelin, how about you come over and help me search this for any maybe seams?
Certainly. Yes. And I sort of like make a show of like trying to check the wall for magic.
I'll do like an
Insight check on Vaelin.
Bree
See
will
if I
search
know
over
what's
here
going
and
on.
barrels of food.
Nat
Good
20?
idea. Good
That's
idea.
funny. Yeah, he's sweating. So she kind of turns and looks at Star and Bree as well. What are you guys doing?
I'm investigating the barrels of food and searching for clues to the rock wall in there.
Oh, okay. So do an investigation.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
That's an 11.
An 11.
12 minus 1.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't find anything strange or out of the ordinary. You open up the boxes, and actually the boxes down here are mostly you see a bunch of winter clothing, cloaks with this like intricate design on the inside of them. When you pick them up, they feel like pretty light, but they almost warm your hands right away. Lots of gloves, hats.
I am, because Bree's passive picked up Vaelin's gasp as well. I am mostly causing a distraction here.
Okay.
To be a big lizard looking for food.
Do a performance.
Performance.
3.
Yeah. She is watching Rowan and Vaelin on the wall. Star, did you want to do anything?
I think what Star is doing is based entirely on how awake he is and on how much he's picking up on the social cues right now. Oh, which is actually pretty good. So I think that he knows that something is up, but he's just sort of going to stand on his toes a little bit and watch. More or less like he's not going for anything and he's not speaking, but he's just sort of carefully watching the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cara?
Could you use a little more light there, Rowan?
I'd love a bit of light.
All right. Apaloak, Willowwood, call the sun, welcome good. And a little fire appears in my hand.
Cool.
And
Oh, very cool.
So the she does have a torch lit down here as well. But yeah, you sort of are able to bring a bit of fire closer to the wall. What did you guys get for your investigation? Or are you investigating?
Didn't do anything.
I
I got a good old 7.
7? Okay.
4 plus 3.
Add 7 to that.
Bree's just gonna
I just got
one of these.
I just got 15.
Casually.
15. You don't really see anything on the wall.
And while we're searching, I'm also going to, whether this gives up the whole jig.
You have detect magic on.
Yeah.
There is an illusion spell on the wall.
The whole wall, part of the wall.
Part of the wall.
I will focus on that area.
You actually can't, like, even as there's something going on here, but your hand doesn't pass through it or anything when it goes over it. You got a 7 investigation.
Can I use another luck point to like trip into it?
Yeah, sure.
I'll roll again. Natural 1. So
Natural
I'll
1.
take the 7.
Okay, yeah.
But I do stumble and like trip over as I fumble around.
Yeah. So you feel your hands across the wall, and she's just standing there watching you now with her arms crossed. And neither of you really find anything. On the wall.
I guess I'll try to whisper to Vaelin. Should we just call a spade here?
Vaelin is just like looking back at Rowan, sort of like not blankly, but like kind of like a little bit of fear in his eyes, and doesn't respond. Like,
right? Are we talking ravens, or are we talking?
And like nervous glance over the shoulder.
Yeah, and she's like, "Is there really? If there's anything I can help you with, I'm not sure what you're looking for."
Bridgette, there is something I think you can help us with.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think we've seen everything we need to see. Why don't we all just convene upstairs? And I thank you, Bridgette. I thank you for your assistance. You've been a gracious host. Here, thank you for the comforter. And I'll try to take the comforter and try to put it like around her.
Okay, and you're trying to sneak a feel through the illusion.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Not that was the weird way to say it.
That sounded. You made that sound gross.
Yeah, in a less gross way.
And is there something like you can do an investigation check to detect
I would
an
say
illusion?
sleight of hand.
Sure.
Or you can do sleight of hand or arcana.
Ooh, I'll definitely do Arcana.
Yeah.
That is going to be a 24.
24.
Ew.
Okay.
Roll.
So you go to put the blanket over her, and when you sort of like pat it down on her shoulders, and now that you're paying attention, your hands don't stick out any farther, and she kind of like jitters when you come close, but your hands don't stick out farther. Like when you saw, because you were using detect magic on the Raven lady, correct?
I believe I was.
We
Or
were on
I
the
did.
first side of the pond.
I did.
You know,
One
I
of
was
us
too
did.
far away. I would have been too far away.
Okay, so you didn't do it last time. So you don't feel like she doesn't seem bigger than she appears to be. But when you lay your hands down, she feels almost armored when you put your hands on her shoulders. And you feel like a bulge sort of over the area of her collarbones on either side. Like you pat her shoulders and you feel shoulders, and then when you pat above, you feel this almost like armored ridge coming over her. Her shoulder.
Yeah, so just like, oh, thank you very much for the comforter. We'll be upstairs. Sorry to bother you. Sorry to waste your time. And I'll start trying to like usher everyone back upstairs and out of the basement.
She stays silent and watches you leave.
Yep.
You see her kind of stand back down, and she looks back towards the area that you were all investigating. And you gave her the amulet?
No, not yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, well, before you go then, she says, so you wanted to hand that over before you left? Or I thought that was the entire purpose of coming down here.
Yes. It's not glowing, right?
It's not glowing.
Oh, we'll be right back. Yes, we'll get to that. And
yeah, are you like
making eyes at Rowan to like not do it?
Does Bridgette seem the same as she did last night? Like, does she feel like the same person?
Yeah. I mean, she's nothing. But how do you mean? Like, are you thinking like if somebody was like wearing her skin or something like that?
It's a polymorph T-Rex, guys.
She has seemed off today because of, since you came down here, you've seen a bit of a different side of her. She's been a little more serious, but besides that, like she's the same big, strong, happy lady that you've seen since you've been here. She was in a pretty good mood until you came down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll keep moving. I'll be like, yes. Well, let's get up out of this dank basement and we'll trade off. And as I'm going up the stairs, I'll make a show of like reaching to get it as I'm like climbing up into the thing.
Okay. So I'd say through this, we'll say Ben, you've started to rise.
Mm-hmm. It's really cold. My window's broken.
Yeah.
So Ben is just gonna like. I guess food is starting to cook and stuff. Like
you can smell food coming up through the floorboards.
So yeah, he just kind of gets out of bed. He's just in his undershirt and pants, or pulls some pants on and wraps the comforter around him and makes his way out into the common area.
Okay. So you come out into the common area. You see, a small crowd has gathered. Food is starting to come out to the tables below. You see, 4 of the lumber workers down there, and Bartholomew.
Okay. Ben just kind of makes his way down the stairs, and he's kind of looking around for anybody he knows who he doesn't see.
So I'd say that's when you would all come up, sort of out, or not staying in the kitchen, I assume, coming out to the.
Yeah. Wherever
I'm like, trying to move us as quickly. Good.
Into public.
Getting into public where there are like other people around. Mm-hmm. Good, excellent. Benjamin, would you mind going and fetching Yuri and asking him to meet us out near the caravan? I've just got to fetch some things. Just right away, please, right away.
And Bridgette comes up the stairs as well, and she, you see her sort of like put out the torch and put it back in its little sconce, and then she follows you out. She just has her arms crossed and she's kind of watching you. And she walks out into the main hall with you as well.
Vaelin, I don't know where Uncle Yuri is.
Oh, sure, certainly. Wouldn't you know people's rooms? We all checked in the day before.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there? Certainly don't. Do I know?
Oh yeah, you've seen him twice storm up and slam one.
Just the third door on the right, just at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
Just right away. Snap. It's like ushering everyone out the front door if I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Benjamin gets to a teenager, it's gonna be real hard.
Yeah. Benjamin is already like giving you like a long look. He's very like he's got like messy hair and he's like his eyes are like half open. He's sleepy and he kind of.
Seeing that, I think I'd like to cast message. Okay. And in your head, you'll just hear it's a bit of an emergency. Right away, please.
And Ben's kind of like eyes like blink, 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 and he's just like kind of nods and hustles up the stairs.
Okay. So you go upstairs. You open the door and you see Yuri sitting on the bed with a pillow over his face, screaming. You can't hear him through the door, but sort of as soon as you open it up, you just hear like.
Ben kind of Uncle Yuri.
Then the pillow like flies down. He just sort of gives you this big frown. He's like, "What? What do you want? I know what you were up to, you little monster. Took care of you. Now this whole place fucking destroyed because of a bunch of you."
Ben like kind of frowns and like his eyes water.
Play, good play.
Okay. Yuri looks up and he kind of just, don't do that. I'm mad at you. Stop it.
I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything? No.
Well, not here. There's Vaelin. Vaelin wants to see you at the caravan. And Ben closes the door.
Okay. Yeah, from behind you just hear like, "Gah!" And as you go down the stairs, he like opens the door and comes out and trudges down the stairs.
Ben ran back to his room.
Oh, he went for your room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, okay, well, let's go outside then. So, you guys all step outside.
Do they? Do the rest of you follow? Or
I would have followed unless she physically stops me. I will.
She's not physically stopping you. She's just following and watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trudging out through the snow, heading straight to the caravan. To if there's like a far side of the caravan from the inn.
Yeah.
The side with all the weapons and ammunition on it.
He just acts like this. He's not spooked. This is just Vaelin being Vaelin.
So you when you go out the front door, she comes to the door as you start walking out through the snow, and she like waits at the doorway and almost looks like she's going to come out after you. And then over her shoulder you hear someone like call out, and she kind of like looks back at them and then looks out at you all and closes the door and heads back inside.
What's the issue, Vaelin?
There was some form of illusory magic present both on Bridgette herself as well as the wall of the basement. She seems to be armored in some sort of fashion, and there's no way for us to know if that is indeed, if she is indeed who she claims to be.
Yeah, this isn't good.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, that's disappointing.
But maybe if this Raven lady wanted to give the amulet to the person at the steady stream, why should we not believe that she has some sort of magic associated with her? You know?
It's the deception of it all.
Yeah.
That's one of the most, dangerous fields to get into. If you start working with people who are seeking to deceive you, you're never sure what ground you stand on.
It's nothing about working with her. Who said anyone is working with anybody? We ran into a weird Raven lady in the woods, and she wants us to give it to another weird lady in the woods. What's the complication? I don't
Well,
I don't really
maybe
understand.
you're right.
No, I don't think so. Star, I think what's at stake here is the livelihood of this town. I think right now Bridgette forms a pretty crucial function in running this inn and providing food and shelter to travelers coming through, a local place for the community to gather. I think that's very important. And I think handing this amulet off to something duplicitous, I think the repercussions of that are something that we should indeed be worrying about.
I'm also a little worried about the repercussions of not handing it off.
Yeah. Well,
This is why you do not bargain with food.
you're right, Bree. Perhaps we should have just left our belongings with those ravens and called it a day.
Bree you see her roll her eyes. If there is secrets in the rock, we have Baito. He dig. Baito love to dig.
I'm
Hey, that's a good idea.
I'm hesitant to make Baito the tip of the spear.
He is sneaky. He is small. We know where secrets are.
Or we
He's
could
pretty
start
sneaky for a
outside.
little lizard.
I would like to know where Yuri is. I don't want to jeopardize his business relations with this town. Maybe he knows about Bridgette's, double personality.
Maybe it's normal. Maybe she just doesn't want to look like she's wearing armor in the.
There could be you're right. There could be all sorts of mundane reasons to keep yourself protected, but not come off as threatening.
I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably not, though.
Why would she lie about the basement and what's beyond there?
Yeah, that's what's got me.
Then again, why would she tell the truth?
Exactly.
Who are we to her?
That's my point. I mean, we're just coming in here and trying to, interfere with her day-to-day life,
I think all this sneaking around is starting to chafe. I think we just confront her and say, listen, all the cards haven't been played here, and I'd like to see what else is in your hand. And even if I hand over that amulet first and then kind of ask questions, whatever we do, I think we got to start putting everything on the table.
But maybe we should all, be ready to go, or, yeah.
I think you're right. I think honesty may be the best policy. I just, yes, I prefer to do it somewhere that isn't a dark basement where no one knows we are.
Well, a dark basement.
Preferably in. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. After you.
Well, I was going to say just that preferably in a bright lit area surrounded by other villagers.
Precisely.
Other villages are collateral, though.
Well, perhaps if she cares for them, she won't get too violent in their presence.
All the hunters have left for a day.
Yeah.
It is only woodworkers.
Right.
I'm not sure if I get your meaning, and I'm going to try to not get it.
So Ben, you hear a little knock on your door.
Okay, Ben is he's putting on his armor.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes and opens it.
So Yuri comes in. He's like, "Hey, sport.
What do you want?
Sorry about that. I freaked out. Really trying to stay positive here today. Got some rough news. I guess you weren't involved in it." And then his eyes dart to the broken window and back at you, and he just goes, "I'm not letting any of that get to me. We're having a good, positive day here today."
It's just like, I forgot I did that.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It was on the bill, so I knew. Anyway, I'm sorry I freaked out at you. Listen, it's all going to be fine. What's money, right? Except the whole reason I'm here.
I can pay for the window I broke.
Well, you will. We all will when we find what we're looking for and sell it and pay back Bridgette. You said Vaelin wanted to see us. What's going on? Please tell me it's a cheap problem.
I don't know. He said it was an emergency. He wanted to see you with the caravan.
Okay. Are you coming?
When I'm ready.
Of course. I'll give you your space. Here I go. Leaving you alone if that's what you really want. Have a hard time figuring out what's going on with you.
Yeah, Ben is just like putting on his armor, and he's like having trouble with a buckle.
So Yuri kind of leans in. He's like, "You want me to get that?"
No.
Right? Okay. Backing off. When you're ready, we'll see you out by the caravan for this emergency. So hurry up. He slowly closes the door and peeks in one more time. "I'm sorry," and closes the door. And in a few minutes, you just see Yuri sort of trotting out across the snow.
Oh, good. Yuri, thank you for coming. How well do you know Bridgette? Do you know her to be a magic user?
Oh, no. I mean, I know her pretty well. I've been through here a few times. I've known her for years, actually. She's great. I've never known her to use magic, but she's quite a good cook and weaver.
Is she particularly inclined to wearing armor in your experience?
I've never known her to need to, but I know that she did. I know that she did spend some time out and around the wilderness. She might own armor.
Why are we beating around the bush? So, in the basement, Bridgette had an illusion spell on her.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's, I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could do that.
And she seems to be wearing armor. And there's also some sort of secret door, passage, something. There's a secret something in her basement.
Also with magic on it.
That's
probably important to indicate.
Okay. What are you guys, what are you doing? You freeing all this up. You break her whole house and then you go down in the basement now. What are you accusing her of now?
Well,
for God's sake.
Yuri, if you'll take a moment to consider that you did tell us that this thing we're after is going to be underground probably, and probably hidden tunnels and hidden pathways and hidden chambers that could be disguised by, I don't know, say magic.
You think she's like an ancient guardian of the thing that I'm looking for?
Well, I don't think she's that ancient, and I don't think she's guarding anything, but I do think she's hiding something, and I think maybe you, knowing her best, could guide us in revealing those secrets, maybe?
I mean, what business do we have to do such a thing? Is it, if she's hiding something, is she doing it for a reason? And if she is, shouldn't we respect that?
Now, see, Yuri, that's exactly why I think you should be the one spearheading this operation, because you care about her. She's your friend.
Yeah.
And I think she'll understand that.
I mean, I guess I could talk to her about it.
What? And I'm looking at you guys because I'm just kind of fumbling here. Well, what? All we want is for her to know that we are her friends in this, and that if there's problems or if she's got a particular goal in mind or tasks that she's trying to do for the good of the community or something along those lines, we could help. We can be a part of the same team.
And I believe it's sort of like you've already told her, Rowan, that we have this item that we're meant to deliver to her, and we're just concerned about unintended consequences. And having everything out on the table will help everyone perhaps make the best decision and make sure it ends up in the right hands, and no one is too caught off guard.
And he says, well, I guess it can't hurt to talk about it, but I'm not going to push very hard. If it comes down to it and it's something that she doesn't want to talk about, I have no reason to believe that there's anything malicious going on with her. If I can make sure that it's her and that she's not in danger and she still doesn't want to reveal what's happening, then I'm going to be satisfied with that and I'm not going to push any farther.
That's all I could ask for myself.
That works for me.
Very good. Okay, let's go accuse.
Well, we don't need to accuse her of anything.
Too late. Made up my mind. He starts walking.
Inquire, Yuri.
So you start to walk back towards Ben. Do you finish up your?
Yeah, Ben comes out. He's got his shield.
Okay. So Ben, you come out the front door, and you see them. Everybody sort of walking towards you. When you come out, your eyes perk up, and you see movement in the woods. Everybody else, you feel a stiff breeze hit the back of your neck as ice pellets start to brush across, sort of like this abrasive cold. And you see a dog sled coming top speed out of the trees. Ben, you see this, and the rest of you sort of like hear behind you someone calling out in the distance.
Yeah, you see Ben's like shoulders pop back in his head, like he extends his neck a bit, and like he's very obviously looking at something.
So
spin around.
Yeah. So as you all turn, you can see this like buffet of wind kicking up snow in front of this dog sled as it comes around the corner, and you see that this it's the female hunter that you saw leave earlier, Bree, and her arm, one of her arms is sort of hanging at an awkward angle, and she's got the other one just desperately wrapped around this dog sled as it comes down through. Bree, you can see and smell blood coming off of her, and she pulls in next to you, and she sort of just falls off the sled, and the dogs keep running over towards the stables. They're in a bit of a panic, and she falls on the ground and just looks up and says, "Everybody has to get inside. Wolves."
Wolves.
Hello, it's me, your dungeon mom, Mike Fardy. Thank you for listening to episode 14 of Wonders and Blunders. We're so grateful every time you tune in. Hi, Mabel. Yes, I know you're also grateful. If you're having a good time listening to the show, come talk to us on social media. We want to meet more of our listeners. We want to hear what you like, what you don't like, what you hope for in the future. We are still a very new podcast, so you can chat with us. Come do that. At Wonder and Blunder. On just about anything. That's Wonder, the letter N, and Blunder. All one word. On Twitter, and Instagram, and Facebook. Is that all of them? I don't know. I'm like 30, so I don't know how any of this works anymore. If one of the sites that you're listening to us on allows reviews, leave us a review. It's a great way for us to get discovered and get some more listeners. But mostly, we love you, and we'll see you next week. Any closing remarks, Mabel? Oh, wow, you actually do. That's very nice. Goodbye!